Bosco is our oldest bird. He's 29 this summer. So they usually live to be about 10 or 15 in the wild, mostly of our birds.
Who's this one?
So that's Bosco.
That's Bosco.
Yep.
These little guys.
Yeah. So Bosco and Caroline are a pair, and then Jeff and Harmony are the other pairs. So we have all three species of penguins that we house here, already in here. So of course the kings right here, the Gentoos are the middle-sized ones, and the Rockhoppers are the smallest. There are smaller penguins and there are larger penguins out there in the world. The only penguins that are larger than the kings are the emperor penguins. Our king penguins average about 35 to 40 pounds when they're at their normal weight. Gentoos, probably about 15 pounds or so. And then the Rockhopper is more like 5 pounds or so. And they all, if you notice, they all have bands on their wings, and they all have different colors, so they all have names, and the bands are how we identify everyone. We've got Gizmo.
Oh, Gizmo's under your chair, right?
Weddle, Larson, Pablo. I mean, I've already introduced the Gentoos and the Kings. Here's Scout and Grace Elmer down there. We have 30 birds total, so 24 Rockhoppers, 4 Gentoos, and 2 Kings. It's basically like taking care of 30 toddlers.
What kind of enrichment do y'all do with them?
We have bubbles that the birds seem to like, so we have a little bubble that, I guess, it looks like a flamingo though, which is funny, that we do out on exhibit sometimes. I have a disco ball that's all shiny, so it's kind of like, a cat chasing a laser pointer.
Y'all disco?
We've got some, basically the equivalent of dog palm toys. Well, some of them are actually like the black palms and stuff fishing or just put out on exhibit. We've got big octopus. We have a lot of natural enrichment, which is their nest for the nesting season and all that. So that's normal stuff. A little bit less than normal stuff. Ma'am. She has cataracts in her eyes, so she can't see super well.
You're doing your best.
There we go.
Is it worth doing any kind of surgery to remove the cataracts?
Not necessarily. She's pretty old, so it's kind of normal, and she gets around on exhibit really well and eats really well. So for her, not so much. If it was a younger bird, I've seen surgeries to do that. We also have to have the eye specialist come in, and there's very few people that do penguin eye surgeries.
I would imagine that's a hard specialty to find.
Oh yeah. They're not really trained a lot. Basically, the main thing that we do with them are scale sessions. We have a little scale, a flat scale that moves at basically the entrance of this hallway here, and they'll get on it. But other than that, we don't really do a lot of training with them. Again, they don't really need a lot of medical care. It's rare that they need to be, caught up for whatever reason, except for, I guess, for molting when we have to change out their bands. And that's something that we're always looking into more training. I'm trying to get more penguin paintings happening because those are always neat and kind of one of my favorite things. But we do training with other birds. A couple of birds are kind of station trained elsewhere at the zoo here. We do have a couple birds that are pretty good at recalling to go into the backups. But a lot of our birds here are more for breeding purposes. So that's why we're kind of a little more hands off. So a lot of them are really endangered. The penguins aren't really endangered so much. It's a lot of our Asian birds that we have, Australian birds, a lot of them are very endangered. So our main focus is breeding with a lot of them. Coming back.
Hello. I'm trying to stay out of your way, friend.
It is nesting season. So rockhoppers, we do have a bunch of nests out there. We have a bunch of eggs out there right now. Pretty much all of our rockhopper pairs, except for 2, have laid eggs. Currently, we have 2 viable eggs potentially to hatch out, but it's very early on for them to make it all the way. But we'll hope, fingers crossed.
And how long is it until the eggs hatch?
It's a little over a month. so 32 to 35 days from when they're laid to when they hatch. We'll let them hatch their eggs out on exhibit. Well, as long as the parents don't crack the egg. If the parents crack the egg, we bring it out to the bird center, incubated there, and then once it starts hatching, we put it back into the parents, as long as it made it fully to hatch with the crack. And then they will grow up to another about a month or so. We'll let the parents raise and feed them, because they do a better job and keeps us a little more free for other birds that definitely need to be hand raised. And then right about when it's time for them to leave the nest, we'll take the baby and the parents back into this room that's back here through this door. And they'll kind of grow up a little bit larger before we put them out on exhibit, because even when they're fledged, they're pretty small. And then it's really fun when we actually let them out for the first time. We have to put on noise canceling headphones or earphones, or earplugs, anything, something. Because as soon as you open the door, they go out and all the birds, every single one, makes the loudest call that they can possibly make for forever, basically. Just like, oh my gosh, it's a new bird, and it's very, very loud. Like, you can't even imagine how loud it is.
Do most species usually stay mated as a pair, or is it more like?
It depends on the bird species. Our penguins, yes, for the most part. We have sent away some birds that were paired up because they were related. We had some sibling pairs and whatnot. And they'll pick a new pair, a new mate, if we do that. But for the most part, our penguins, yes. Ducks, not so much. So I've been here about a year and a half. We have 3.
And do they don't stay out and exhibit at night?
Well, they do.
Do they do that?
Yep.
I just assume that like all animals have like a off exhibit like area to hang out in.
Yeah, these ones, not so much, but the lights turn off and people can't come into the birdhouse at night, so it's kind of used to that. They only get to come in here during penguin tours and when we're cleaning, which is keep it kind of novel for them and interesting. But no, they don't really, out in Antarctica, they would just be basically on an ice shelf and don't really need like cover so much. So, okay, everyone, it's time.
Hope y'all have a good rest of the day.
Oh, okay. Usually I get a little farther, but they're being a little stubborn today.